The definition of fasting is uncomplicated. Voluntarily not eating solid food or drinking calorie-containing beverages for a specified period. The practice of fasting has been done for thousands of years for a broad range of reasons. There are several well-known health benefits of fasting. Here is a list of many of them. Fasting improves cognitive functioning. Fasting can make your brain function at a higher, more efficient level. This mental boost is due to an increase of neurons that deliver protection to the mind. This higher functioning makes sense when we consider evolution. Our ancient ancestors survived because their brains functioned well when they needed to find food. Fasting strengthens the immune system. Fasting causes cellular regeneration by signaling stem cells to manufacture new white blood cells and replace blood cells that have become senescent, old and tired. The result of this process is a reboot of your immune system. Replace white fat with brown fat. Many people are unaware that there are two types of fat in the body: white fat and brown fat. Brown fat burns energy, while white fat stores energy that eventually may turn into the kind of fat that is both unsightly and unhealthy. White fat is also known as visceral fat and is found in the midsection. Studies have indicated that fasting plays a role in changing white fat into brown fat, which is a far more efficient energy source. Fasting causes better digestion. Why? Because your internal organs need an occasional break from their continuous task of breaking down and absorbing food. Fasting gives these overworked organs a bit of rest. Fasting promotes weight loss. This should not require much explanation. Fewer calories taken in means the pounds drop off. After you eat, your insulin levels rise and you do not need to use fat for energy since your body relies on food to keep you going. But several hours after you stop eating, there is no food for the body to use. At that point, the body is forced to burn fat and the pounds begin to melt. A right kind of weight loss. Studies have demonstrated that intermittent fasting causes much less muscle loss than regular dieting. A 2011 survey found that 90% of the weight loss obtained through intermittent fasting was fat, as opposed to 75% from regular dieting. Fasting increases insulin sensitivity. Insulin resistance is a severe health problem. When this condition is present, your cells are unable to soak up excess glucose from your blood. If this continues, the result is diabetes, something no one wants or needs. Fasting solves this condition by freeing up more insulin by forcing the body to use fat cells for energy. Going longer between meals lets the body pump out less insulin. Also, after fasting, the body becomes more sensitive to insulin. Fasting may also boost neurological disease protection from devastating conditions like Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and dementia. Dr. Mark Mattson, chief of the Neurosciences Lab at the National Institute of Aging, or NIA, said that, quote, "Just as exercise makes muscles stronger, fasting makes the brain stronger," end quote. Fasting may improve cholesterol and triglyceride levels and lower blood pressure. Fasting can sweep cholesterol from the veins and arteries. A study conducted at the Intermountain Medical Center Heart Institute in Utah found that after a mere one-day fast every week for 6 weeks, the participants' baseline cholesterol levels fell by 12%. The reason? The body switches its energy source from blood sugar to fat. Burning fat cells lowers cholesterol for the same reason that fasting fights diabetes. Fasting may also boost human growth hormone, or HGH, levels. During a fast, your body enters autophagy, which is a condition that eliminates cellular waste by breaking down proteins and removing toxins that accumulate in your cells. This toxin removal is where the anti-aging benefits begin. The body, in its innate wisdom, will first throw out the cells that have been damaged by illness or aging. Researchers state that fasting can turn the ignition key to cause the body to break down old white blood cells, the body's defenders from disease, and build new, rejuvenated white blood cells. The body uses glycogen for energy. This glycogen has been stored in the muscles and the liver and remains there until it is needed. When the body is unable to satisfy its need for glucose from food, it reaches into the supply of liver glycogen. This glycogen is used to control insulin and gather free fatty acids for fuel. This explains why fasting leads to fat loss. Long-chain fatty acids have trouble when trying to cross the blood-brain barrier. This barrier causes the body to break these fatty acids down by a process called beta oxidation, which creates ketone bodies to be used as energy for both the brain and the muscles. The use of ketones is crucial since studies have demonstrated that ketones are 70% more efficient at delivering energy than glucose. As a result of this efficiency, growth hormone levels explode by as much as 5 times. Another study concluded that fasting could result in a 1,000% spike in growth hormone. Research conducted by the Intermountain Medica concluded that intermittent fasting, or IF, could dramatically boost growth hormone levels. In a recent study, men who fasted for 24 hours saw a 2,000% rise in growth hormone, and women in the study benefited from a 1,300% increase. More good news. Researchers have concluded that the benefits of fasting can be achieved by fasting as few as 8 days a year. Research from the USC Davis School of Gerontology determined that fasting for 2 to 4 days at a time can rejuvenate the entire immune system. Always remember that the body needs energy from some source, even if it's not food. When food is removed from the equation, the energy source sequence is fat, muscles, and organs. HGH protects muscles. The body possesses the knowledge to know when the food supply stops and adjusts accordingly by ramping up the production of HGH. This adjustment means that fat will be used first as energy before muscle. And don't worry about your organs. If you are in the final stages of starvation, you will be long dead before your organs are used for energy. To keep things somewhat simple, remember this formula. When the amount of fat the body uses for energy rises, the need for glucose as an energy source decreases. As fat use for energy increases, sugar use for energy drops. This is crucial since this process stabilizes blood glucose levels. This method also explains why muscle mass does not tumble. Since the body requires less glucose, there is no need for the body to cannibalize muscle tissue to produce new glucose. When done correctly and precisely, eating slows the release of HGH, and fasting speeds up the release of HGH. Also, the body's ability to use fat for energy while fasting is a product of hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of years of evolution. The easy availability of food is a recent development. Throughout recorded history, there have been periods where food supplies were scarce. This led to an adapt or perish survival mode and accounts for the body's massive release of growth hormone during fasting to protect muscle tissue. However, the time frame for growth hormone release is finite. Studies have demonstrated that after approximately 48 hours without food, growth hormone levels will begin to taper off. Therefore, intermittent fasting is the technique you need to employ. Here's why. The body's fight or flight hormones are called epinephrine and norepinephrine, and are also called adrenaline and noradrenaline, or catecholamines. When fasting, the body is under stress, and this triggers the adrenal glands to release these hormones. When these stress hormones enter the blood, they provoke the release of glucose, which has been stored as an energy source. This process increases fat burning. As I previously mentioned, the time for beneficial growth hormone is limited. If the body is forced into a fight or flight mode for an extended period, adrenal fatigue follows, resulting in catabolic stress. Catabolic stress is a debilitating condition which results in protein loss, a breakdown of muscle protein, unhealthy rapid weight loss, and possible organ problems. The key is balance, not too much stress or not too little. And that is precisely what intermittent fasting delivers.